Today is Saturday, which means it is park run day, and we're here in Adelaide, South Australia to complete Belair National Park PARKRUN. I'm hoping to see some kangaroos for the very first time, and I'm going to be telling you everything that you need to know about this park run whilst also trying to achieve my fastest time. Belair National Park is located in the Adelaide suburbs just to the south of the CBD, and is obviously located within Belair National Park. It is a single lap course which is pretty much an out and back, and it is all on undulating trail paths, so therefore I recommend wearing trail shoes to this park run. You'll probably be okay with road shoes though in the summer months, as it is very dry and hard on foot. However, I don't think you're going to be able to get a PB at this course due to how undulating it is. There are definitely quicker ones which are nearby. It is also good to note that buggy/prams are allowed at this park run, and so are dogs too. There are also public toilets just 200 metres from the start at the oval, so you don't need to worry about going to the toilet before the run either. It starts at 8 AM too, so make sure that if you're from the UK, you know that, because obviously the ones in the UK start at 9 AM, so you don't want to turn up late. In terms of the scenery, it is stunning, especially as it is within a national park, so you really get to see the Aussie wildlife at its best. It was amazing too, as you'll see later on, as when we started the run, we saw kangaroos hopping around the course too, which was amazing, because I've never seen a kangaroo before, and it just made my day, to be honest, to be able to see them. And after we finished the run, we just did a little walk around the path again, and we're able to go and see them up close too, which was incredible. But before we do go any further, if you don't know what a park run is, it is essentially a 5K run, which is set up by a group of volunteers. They both time and marshal the event. When you hit the finish line, you'll be given a finish token. This will be scanned alongside your own personalised barcode, and then you'll be sent your official finish time and position later on. And now let's take a quick look through a summary of the course. So as I was saying earlier, it is a single lap, pretty much all out and back and all on trail paths. You can see in that top left-hand corner that it is pretty undulating, with an elevation gain of 76 metres and a max elevation of 304 metres. You can see just how dry the paths are too, all on trail and all within the national park woodlands, which is beautiful. So that is a quick summary of the course, but now let me take you through it in a bit more detail. Starting off on the northern side of Belair National Park, right close to the car park, and heading your way south. So this is all going to be uphill before turning off to the left-hand side, where you'll be going back downhill along Birdie Loop. You're going to make your way all the way to the eastern side before heading your way back uphill again as you travel further south. So basically, the more southerly you get, the higher the incline. You're then going to get to this most southerly point before going off to the west, and then this is going to start to go downhill again. You're going to do a small loop on that very western side before heading your way back along the exact same path. So back up the hill, then back down the hill towards Birdie Loop, go onto Birdie Loop, then head your way up the steepest part of this park run, which is this section here. Do a right-hand turn and then head your way all the way back down the hill to the finish. So you end up finishing really quickly because it is all downhill towards the finish line, so do get ready to stop there right at the end. So that is the course which we are going to be running today. However, now it is time to take you through some incredible park run records set here at Belair National Park PARKRUN. Starting off with the fastest male, which is Fraser Darcy, with a time of 15 minutes and 46 seconds, which is unbelievable, bearing in mind how undulating this course is. The fastest female is Charlotte Rudenklau, with a time of 18 minutes and 34 seconds. So again, another incredible time set here at this park run. The average number of runners is 208, so it's a fairly busy one, but not too bad. And the average time is 37 minutes and 9 seconds. So it is a pretty slow average, and you'll see why in just a moment when we get to the run. But before we do get to the run, let me take you through some of my GoPro stats. So starting off with the number of park runs which I've done, which is 82. The number of locations is 59, so we're going to hit location number 60 today. And then my best finish position is 4th, which was set in Zielony Jar in Poland. My fastest times range from 22:32 all the way down to 23:09. But with this course today being very undulating and I'm not back to full fitness yet, I don't think we'll be achieving a time which will get on the leaderboard today. And now let's get to the most important bit of this video, the run. So let's get down to event number 95 of Belair National Park PARKRUN. So we're making our way over now towards the start line, and as you can see, it isn't too busy, to be honest. There's not that many people and there's quite a wide path too, so hopefully we can get out pretty quickly. But we're going to be setting off in 1 second now, so we are off. The timer has started, and as you can see, it is an incline to begin with, which makes it just that little bit harder. You can also see that it is on trail paths, and we're having to dodge a little tree there on the left hand side too, so maybe if you stay on the path you'll be okay there. But so far so good, coming out at a decent pace, especially as it's going uphill. I didn't want to come out too quickly, so I tried to pull it back just that little bit, and hopefully today we can get a time which is around 25 minutes. We'll probably aim for 25 and a half, I think, bearing in mind last week we got 24 minutes and 51 seconds. But do make sure to look around in this section, as there are kangaroos in this area, so do make sure to look around, and in a moment you'll see one pop out onto the screen onto the left hand side. So there'll be one running across there. You might be able to see him in the distance. He's just behind the guy now, popping all the way across to the left hand side. He's very small on this video, but I'll make sure to put up some videos at the end of this run of all the kangaroos which you went to see after. But so far so good, uphill start, so remember that, all on trail paths, and look out for kangaroos. So we've just hit the top of that little incline, and now we're heading back down the other side. So we're actually going towards the kangaroo, however, we didn't actually see him again. Maybe the runner at the front might have seen him for the second time and kind of scared him off. But we're now heading downhill towards the most eastern point of the run, still on trail paths though, and there's a sharp right-hand turn coming up in just a second. So let's go around that and then head our way into the main area of the national park. It does close in a few times there, like those little bridges, so do be wary of those too. But if you are finding this review useful, do make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new too, as we go. It goes a long way to supporting the channel, and also we get a new park run out each week. So we are now coming up towards our first kilometre, running at a pace of around 5 minutes and 8 seconds. And you'll notice the elevation in that bottom right hand corner was pretty flat over that previous section just then, and it is now beginning to go uphill as we head our way towards the south of the park run. If you do want any information on the elevations or on my split times, then I'll leave a little link in the description below, which will send you to my Strava, so you can check all of those out. But if we can keep this up, hopefully we should get under that 5.5 minutes. But this bit is the uphill. It's a gradual incline too, which makes it that little bit harder in my opinion, but it's all still on trail paths, so do make sure as well to look down, as you don't want to trip over any of the stones. But also keep your eyes out for any more kangaroos, as we managed to see quite a few whilst we were running, but I don't know how many of them were actually caught in this video. So it was actually along this section where we did actually manage to see some more kangaroos. It was to the right just a second ago. I didn't quite catch it, and there's a little bit on the clip, so I'll try and show that again right now so you can see that. It is back to a flat run as we run across the top end of this park run. We're about 1.2 kilometers. It is a beautiful run, I have to say, especially with it being in the national park. And I believe there might be a bit of ultimate frisbee going on around the park too, or this was an old ultimate frisbee course which they've now converted into this national park. But still on the trail paths, still going uphill at the moment, and now I'm looking forward to getting over to this top side so then we can go down the other side and enjoy our run. 1.5 kilometers down and 3.5 kilometers remain. So as you can see, the elevation is now around 300 meters, whereas before we were down at around 270. So we've increased by about 30 meters of uphill climb all around that section. But you'll begin to notice that the elevation will drop as this is now all downhill towards the loop, which is the best bit. And then once you've done that loop, you've got to head back uphill to that section we have just passed. But we're doing all right at the moment. We're still running at a pace of around 5 minutes and 7 seconds. So we've sped up ever so slightly. So hopefully if you can keep like this, we'll be able to hit our target of 25.5 minutes. kilometre to complete. So we managed to run that one at a pace of 5 minutes and 9 seconds, which isn't bad at all. So I was very happy with that. Another person has just flown straight past us too, as this is all downhill, so you can actually begin to pick up the pace. But do remember, what comes down must go back up, which makes it even harder on the way back. Everyone's doing really well at the moment. No one's coming back yet. However, people will be using the path on the way back. So if you're a slightly slower runner, do be wary of that. You don't want to cover the whole path. Otherwise, you're going to have someone run straight into you. So do keep to the left-hand side if you can. But hopefully we can keep up at this pace and hopefully we'll get a decent time. But as I was saying before, it's all a trail run, which makes it that little bit harder. However, I do really enjoy these types of ones, even though I know I'm not going to get a PB today. So now, as you can see, the cones are directing us off to the left-hand side as we make our way to the loop, and the volunteer will definitely point you in the right direction if you are confused. But as long as you stay on the left-hand side, you'll then make your way down to the bottom of the loop and then come back up the other side. So you've seen some runners passing us. They have just finished their loop and they're heading their way back to the start. So passing that last volunteer puts us just at the halfway point as we now are making our way all the way back to the start. So it's all back to an incline again from the bottom of the loop. So it was 277 meters. You can already see it is going up to 278, 279. So this is a little bit of a steeper incline, but it's still not the hardest incline of the course, in my opinion. I think the bit towards the end is the hardest bit. But you'll have to let me know, do you prefer these sort of park runs where it's like trail and it's got all this greenery around, or are you someone that likes a city run on hard surface paths, so you go sprinting for your fastest times? Let me know down in the comment section below. So now just 2 kilometers remain from this park run, and we managed to run the previous kilometer in a time of 4 minutes and 52 seconds. So I was actually really impressed with myself that we managed to get it at that speed, because obviously the other ones were like 5 minutes 6, 5 minutes 8. So they were a lot slower. But now we are at the top again of the hill, well, we're not quite at the top of the hill. We're heading towards the top of the hill and we'll be heading down the other side again. But look how beautiful the day is too. Obviously you've got a few clouds in the sky, but apart from that, it's blue skies, luscious green too, because this can get very dry and brown, but at the moment it was still green. And we're doing quite well, so just be wary obviously of the runners on the right hand side and of any public too, but keep your eyes peeled for any kangaroos. So with 1.5 kilometers to go, we're now heading our way back downhill towards the Birdie Loop. As you can see, it's opened up loads now. It's not really any park runners ahead of me. There's obviously some on the opposite side of the track. However, ahead of me, it is really far from the person in front. So you've got plenty of space to run in. It's not too busy at all. You can sort of just get your rhythm in your own head. But right now we're doing pretty well, running at a pace of around 5 minutes. So hopefully we can keep this up, as if we're trying to get under that 25.5 minutes, we'll have to do so. Beautiful park run though, I keep saying it, but definitely recommend just looking around throughout the whole of this course. But let me know down in the comment section below, what is the best looking park run you have ever been to? 4 kilometers down and 1 kilometer to go. So that kilometer was done with a time of around 5 minutes and 1 second. So fairly speedy, still keeping up to that towards that 5 minutes time. So hopefully it should be a pretty good one. As you can see too, the floor has been the same floor throughout the whole of the run, the trail paths, and do be wary of the rocks because they can be a little bit jagged and stuff, so it can trip you over too. But we're making our way towards the finish line, so we're able to pick up the pace that little bit. However, the hardest hill is coming up very shortly. So now we are crossing back over this bridge for the final time. The volunteer's there to point you off to your left, and then this is the dreaded incline. This was the worst bit, in my opinion, of the run slash the hardest bit, which is up the Birdie Loop hill. So you'll see actually some people decide to walk up it. Maybe that is a good idea, to be honest, because it's just a sprint finish downhill. at the end. But we're pushing our way up, trying our hardest not to stop. We're actually catching up with the guy ahead of us. Maybe he heard and he decided to run again. But once you get up to the top, there is no more incline. It is all downhill from here. So hopefully we should have a bit of a sprint finish going on. And here we go, we are into our final 100 meters. You can see that I'm going a lot quicker now, running at a pace of about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. It's all downhill, so do be careful with the floor as well. You don't want to trip over, otherwise you're going to really graze your legs or arms. And then you're going to turn off it just in a second now to the right-hand side. Can we get under that 5 minutes and 30 seconds? It's going to be a close one, so we're back on the grass here towards the end. Go on, quick sprint finish. We're not going to do it, or are we? It's going to be close. Come on, and we get a time there of 5 minutes and 29 seconds. 5 minutes? 25 minutes and 29 seconds. So we've managed to do it, breaking that 25.5-minute time, and we come in position 38. So you can definitely get a pretty good position here at this park run too. Can't unfortunately get it to focus, but now let's go through Belair National Park Park Run summary. Belair National Park Park Run complete, ticking off our 5th B on the alphabet here challenge. So we're doing pretty well for the B letters. We also managed to tick off the 29 on the stopwatch bingo. So because we ended with 25 minutes, 29 seconds, that end bit is the first time we've ended with 29 seconds. So pretty happy about that too. In terms of how quick the park run is, it is definitely not one where you're going to get a PB. However, if you love a trail park run, I definitely recommend giving this one a go, as it's one of my favourite trail ones, which I've done so far. And if you're a tourist with a chance to run alongside kangaroos, it's pretty cool. In terms of the busyness, it is not too busy at all, and it does spread you out quite a lot at the start because it's got that incline. So the quicker runners are able to sprint off at the start, whereas the slower runners and walkers can just sit back and let the quicker ones go ahead. In terms of the scenery, it is beautiful, as we have seen, and you get to see all the kangaroos, and I definitely recommend walking around and seeing the kangaroos after, because they're all just in their natural habitat doing things. There's two boxing each other, and then there's also a couple just chilling, eating the grass or whatever was around them. I'm not sure if you can see koalas too, so if anyone's watching that is from Belair National Park, let us know down in the comment section below whether you can sometimes see koala bears too. But there were a few public people that I saw walking around and looking at just the wildlife and not actually doing the park run, so you can definitely go there and do that if you didn't want to do the park run either. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to all of the volunteers who are there on the day, cheering us on, taking photos, timekeeping, etc. Must be a pretty cool one to volunteer at too, as you've got kangaroos bouncing around, and without those volunteers, the park run doesn't go ahead. So thank you very much to them. But now it is time to take a quick look at some of the pinch points. So these are the points which are going to slow you down from getting your PB at this park run today. Starting off with number 1, which is undulating. So the terrain was not an easy terrain to run on at all. It was going uphill, downhill, and there were some steep inclines and some gentle inclines too. So that meant that there was no real chance of getting a PB today. And also the second one is the trail paths, because they were quite like bobbly, and you had to be careful because some of the stones were loose. So you were constantly sort of looking on the floor, watching your step, especially the steep declines and stuff. You have to be careful because you don't obviously want to trip over whilst you are running downhill. But apart from that, it's not too bad a course. It's a great one for if you love trail courses, and it is also a great one if you like a hilly one too. So those are all of my pinch points. However, if you do have any pinch points of your own, then do make sure to let us know down in the comment section below, and I'll try and pin it up to the top so that everyone else can see it. But now it is time to go through the tips and tricks section. So these are all the tips and tricks on how to get to the park run and where to go for that post-park run coffee. Starting off with public transport. So if you want to get there via train, there is actually a train station just a 25-minute walk from the start, and that is Glenalta train station. So you can go there, and it is really easy to get to the park run from that station. Unfortunately, with it being a little bit further out from the city, there are no real tram stops nearby, so that's not going to be an option. And then in terms of the buses, there isn't really any bus timetable that actually gets to the park run on time. So if you're trying to get to this park run using public transport, I think train is the only real option. Otherwise, you're just going to have to get an Uber/taxi. For those who have hired a car or want to drive to the park run, there is a park run on site. So it's literally right next to the start line, just 1 minute away from the start. So you can't really complain about that. It does get chock-a-block pretty quickly too, so do be wary of that, because if you don't get a spot, then I'm not 100% sure on where you can park. And now the most important part of the park run, where to go for that post-park run coffee and cake. So literally right next to the finish line is Escapegoat Shed Cafe, and that has plenty of snacks you can have, drinks too, and there's outdoor seating or indoor seating. However, we did find there were quite a few flies around, so do be wary of those. If you're not a massive fan of flies, they are very friendly. Nothing like the ones that we get in the UK. They just land on your face. They don't really care. They don't care about social space whatsoever, the flies here. But it is really cool park run, so I definitely recommend doing it, and I definitely recommend grabbing some food and a drink at the cafe at the end. So those are some of my tips and tricks for this park run, but if you do have any of your own, then make sure to let us know down in the comment section below. But now let's take a look through our after run stats, where not much has changed, apart from the number of park runs has increased to 83. The number of locations increases to 60, so we're only now 40 away from that Cowl Club achievement. My best finish position though, and all of my fastest times stay exactly the same, and they have done for a while now, but hopefully in the next few months we can try and chalk one of them off the leaderboard. But that is going to be it for Belair National Park Park Run, so I do hope you all enjoyed this one, and if you did, you should actually go and check out last week's park run, where we headed over to Oakland's Estate Reserve Park Run, which was a lot quicker than this one as it was flat and all on tarmac paths. Or you can go and check out all of my other park runs in the worldwide park run playlist, which has them from Asia, Europe, and also Australia. So that's pretty cool. In terms of next week, we're going to be heading over to Mawson Lakes Park Run, which is actually to the north side of Adelaide. And again, it's a pretty flat one, mostly on concrete paths too. So hopefully should be pretty quick, so we can get a quick time. But before I end the video, did you know that 70% of you who are still watching right now are not subscribed to the channel? So I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button so I can continue to grow the channel and make more park run content. And I'll see you all next week with another park run.